Hey, everybody, welcome into Star Wars Republic, our show about all things Star Wars here on the Arena Productions. I'm your host, Expat, and I just finished watching episode 5 of Ahsoka, Shadow Warrior. And boy, oh boy, it was an amazing episode. Of course, written and directed by Dave Filoni. Everybody had been waiting for this episode for a long time. Obviously, from last week, at the end of the episode, we got Hayden Christensen. So I'm going to be talking about this in a recap and kind of my own review of the episode. But before I get into it, I just want to let all of you know that this is going to be spoiler filled. So if you have not watched the episode yet, please go to Disney Plus, watch the episode, and then come back and enjoy this recap and review of Star Wars Ahsoka, episode 5, titled Shadow Warrior. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into it. Yeah, I mean, right from the beginning, I mean, we get Hera and all of them searching for Ahsoka and for Sabine. Of course, we get Huyang, and we get Jason and Chopper and everybody, and the fleet, some of the ships. Of course, Carson with his X-wing squadron there, looking around, trying to figure out where they might have gone. And then we get the scene with Anakin, and he basically tells Ahsoka, "I have one more lesson for you, and it's either live or die." And I just loved how he pops out the lightsaber, and then I mean, it's almost like from he just picked up where he left off in Episode 3. I mean, with the lightsaber duel with Ahsoka, I thought it was really cool. And then we get that kick, from Ahsoka, and then you get the kind of the smirk from Anakin there. It's like, I haven't taught you everything yet, and then he cuts the force field in the world between worlds, and then she falls down back into the past, and so of course we get a younger Ahsoka, and we get to the flashback to the Clone Wars. Of course, one of the first missions that they went on. I think it was in the Clone Wars season 1. And yeah, I mean, basically, Anakin was trying to teach her how to survive, and to live or die. And in this time, as we see the younger Ahsoka, coming up and seeing the horrors of the war, and coming up and holding on to one of the clones, and then Anakin talking to her and talking about how it's when it comes to war, he has to teach her how to survive. I mean, and the times are different. When Obi-Wan was teaching him, it was a time of peace, and they were protectors of the peace. But now they have to be leaders. And yeah, I thought that was a really cool moment in the episode. And then we get back, and Hera is under a lot of pressure because Mon Mothma, of course, is basically ordering her to come back. And Carson, he's like, our fuel reserves are you know, uh, stretching thin, trying to search out there. But I mean, in this episode, we really get, and I'm really interested to know what happens with Jason later on. I mean, it's a big mystery, where his story goes after this series, between this series and when the First Order comes up. I mean, what happens to him? Maybe we'll find out more later as the Ahsoka season goes on in episode 6, 7, and 8. But yeah, I mean, he was able to hear the lightsaber duel between Ahsoka and Anakin, and I thought that was really, really cool. And so he basically saved the day. But we're gonna get to that in a minute. But we get back to the scene with, of course, with Anakin and a little bit more grown up Ahsoka. Uh, of course, played by the same actress, but this time it's the Siege of Mandalore, and you see some of the clones wearing the helmets from like the Clone Wars series, basically under the command of Ahsoka. And you hear, of course, Timur Morrison, of course, as Captain Rex. You hear his voice there. But then Anakin comes up, and he talks about how she's become a true warrior. And then it gets to the point of Anakin and how he became so powerful and he was dangerous beyond what everybody could imagine. And then we get the kind of the Darth Vader. He pulls out the red lightsaber, and you see the Sith eyes and the gray face and all, and he's basically about to kill Ahsoka, and then Ahsoka is able to, come out of it and take the lightsaber away from him and say, "I choose to live." And then Anakin turns back into himself and says, "There's hope for you yet." And so basically, that was the final lesson that the master was giving to his apprentice, his Padawan. And then she sinks back into reality. As you see there, she is basically floating in the ocean. And this is the only thing about the episode that I was kind of like, how long has she been in the water there? Do Jedi not drown or something like that? I mean, that was kind of out there for me in this episode, but obviously, she was, uh, you know, of course, in this world between worlds. And so she had been in this dream world, for like what Hu Yang was telling her, for like one cycle, one click or something like that. So um anyway, she's able to be rescued. And like I said before, I mean, Jason and then Chopper gives the coordinates to where she was floating in the water, and so they were able to pick her up. And then we get into the really cool part of the episode towards the end, where we get the Purgles, of course, that can travel, in space and be able to jettison themselves, between galaxies and all, into hyperspace and all. And so Ahsoka is able to communicate with them and is able to, bring her ship with Hu Yang into one of the huge Purgles that we see. And of course, when the Republic fleet gets there, the one that they're traveling in, it's just humongous. I mean, it's even bigger than one of these huge Republic ships. And obviously, the Republic ships have to get out of the way. And then she's able to transport within it, within the Purgle, into hyperspace. And obviously, probably in episode 6, they're going to reach where Sabine and the others jettisoned themselves in the last episode. So, but Hera and her son, obviously, and Chopper and all, they had to stay behind. So, whether or not they get back to this, area, because obviously they're going after Thrawn now, Ahsoka and Hu Yang, and to try to save Sabine and to hopefully find Ezra Bridger. We'll see what happens there, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that Thrawn and them actually are able to make it to this realm again, to try to take on the Republic fleet. But yeah, I mean, it was an awesome episode. And obviously next week we're going to get Ahsoka and Hu Yang probably catching up to Sabine and them, and the confrontation between Ahsoka and Balin is going to happen again. But really excited to see that. I was really excited to see Hayden Christensen again as Anakin. I mean, the lightsaber duels were fantastic. I mean, that was really cool. So and an ode to the Clone Wars series as well. So an awesome episode, written and directed by Dave Filoni, of course. So let us know in the comments what you thought of episode 5, Shadow Warrior. I mean, I just thought it was an amazing episode. And if you like this video, please be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell for when we drop a new episode of Star Wars Republic or any of our other videos here on the Arena Productions. So I've been your host, Expat. So until next week when we do our recap and review of episode 6, hope you have a great week and enjoy maybe watching it, Ahsoka episode 5 again and again until next week's episode. So anyway, take care, everyone. We're looking forward to next week. Peace.